Rock, Coach Dan Meyers and Coach Rocky Hidalgo. We're excited to bring you guys updates on the Glen Academy Red Terrors football team. We want to thank our sponsors first. We've got Live Oak Agency, Phil over there on St. Simon's doing big things for us. Speaking of big, we got Big Pyro Mics, man. He can really blow stuff up.
That's it. Yes, sir.
And then we got a new sponsor this week, Striplings. Man, I'm in there every day. Do you guys just go over there, get some community coffee, or take you back home to Louisiana?
I roast my own coffee.
Oh, fancy. We're going to have to do a show on
exactly right.
Coach's Coffee.
I swing over there and get some steaks every now and then, some sausage. They've got a pretty good steak in there. On a Friday night, especially if my wife's not home and nobody's home, it's just me, go get me a steak. I'll cook me a steak.
You got to try the biscuits and gravy there in the morning. They're pretty good.
I have to get after it. Never done that.
Ooh, yeah, they're yummy. So I see Ivy there every morning. Thanks, Ivy. So, Coach, did we win the bye week?
It was a good bye week. We got some rest. Spent some time. We got to watch my daughter play a lot of volleyball. She was playing some volleyball last week. Had a JV game. JV went over and beat Brantley on Thursday night. Finished up their season. Got to see Coop, play a little football, and it was a good week.
Fantastic. Getting some rest. We coming in this week healthy?
I think so, for the most part. I think we'll have all our kids. John Moody's still working, nursing a high ankle sprain, just hasn't gotten better. But other than that, I think we'll have all of our pieces on Friday night.
Anything stand out from this week's practice?
I think we've had 2 really good days of practice, coming in here, and kids have been enthusiastic. It's senior night Friday night, so we want to make sure we go out and play well. I think our kids are going to get after it. We're going to play a good game.
Fantastic. We're going to pause for a message from our sponsors.
Hello, Terror fans. This is head football coach Rocky Hidalgo of the Glen Academy Red Terrors. Since James Stripling first opened his general store in 1964, Stripling's has been providing its customers with the finest products anywhere in South Georgia. From specialty items like the hoop cheese, jerky, and smoked sausage, to their full-service butcher shop or the vast array of pantry products like jams and jelly, you'll find everything you need to whip up a Tuesday night dinner or special something on date night. Please stop by Stripling's General Store on Highway 17 at the end of the causeway. A proud sponsor of Glen Academy football.
Right, welcome back. Thank you to our sponsors again. So, Coach, we got Scout Team Player of the Week.
We were just talking about that, so we didn't do Scout Team Player of the Week.
I thought you meant you and I didn't do one last week.
No, we didn't do one last week, but we didn't do one because we were short on practice. But so we didn't do a Scout Team Player of the Week last week.
All right,
so
cool.
you misunderstood that. That's all right. So we're okay.
Hey, we're one take show though. All right, so you guys appreciate this. What's our playoff scenario look like?
We got to win when we're in, and Statesboro's kind of in the same boat. Statesboro's got a pretty good little football team over there. But we've got to go in and win the game, and we've talked to our kids about it, and I think our kids are ready to go. I think we've got a good game plan. I think we're going to play well. Really want us to play well. That's the big thing for me. I want to see us go out and play like we're capable of. I don't think we've done that all year. We've talked extensively about that with our kids this week. And I think our kids have gone out and had a really good practice, a couple of really good practices. So we're gonna go get after them and get after the Blue Devils and let the chips fall where they may.
So winner goes, losers stays home, huh?
That's it. Yep.
Man, that's exciting football. You guys better pack the stadium Friday night. What can we expect to see out of them?
Statesboro's some really dynamic players on offense. 2 running backs, and quarterback. Quarterback is really, really special. He can stick his foot in the ground and disappear. Big physical offensive line. So they don't throw it great, but man, they've got some guys who can go the distance every time. If you watch them play, big plays running the football, and a lot of missed tackles. People have a hard time tackling them. So we have to do a great job of keeping him in the pocket. A lot of times everybody kind of gets hung up. They want to sack the quarterback. But man, we've kind of got what they call a mush rush. We got to keep him in the pocket, keep him contained, build a wall around him. And you don't want him taking off and running in space. So we've got to do a good job of assigning a spy player when we're on defense to hem that guy up. On the defensive side of the ball, they're a 4-4 cover 3 team, which means we're going to see a lot of 8-man box. They do a good job of keeping the ball in front of them. They don't give up a lot of big plays on the back end. You see the corners and safety will get out of there, let you throw some throws underneath them, but they do a good job tackling. Their front fits on the ball really well. Coach Kaiser's done a good job over there, and they've got a pretty good football team.
Yeah, we're excited to see them, and there's nothing better than playing for a playoff spot on the line.
Well,
I guess having the region championship sitting there is nice.
Look at that. That's been the scenario we've been in the past. Is we've got playoff spots locked up this week, and we've had playing for region championships in week 10. It's not the case this year. We told our kids, we talked about that with them. Is that we've got to live for the fight a little bit, and it's disappointing. It's okay to be disappointed that we didn't do the things that we set out to do. But the other side of that, it's not okay just to kind of hang our helmets and shoulder pads up. We need to go out there and compete, live for the fight. And let's go win this game. Let's get in the playoffs and let's see what happens. I still think we can be a really good football team. I haven't given up on that, and I think that's the thing that we've got to go out and do. We got to play. We've got to strain and play together, and go out and play our best, compete for 48 minutes, and let's just see what happens.
How important is it to the program to have those extra practices during playoff runs?
It's huge.
Especially with the young team this year.
It's huge, and you have a lot of young kids that are up there with us helping us to practice. So what happens is, when you play a lot of those young kids that are playing up, what ends up happening is you end up with a lot of young kids in your scout team, and so it's just kind of youth throughout the program, and those kids are getting reps, more and more reps as you go through. And so that practice, we're trying to coach those kids at practice, those young kids, because a lot of those kids are going to have to step up and play next year, or have roles on Friday night. So we're trying to teach them not just what to do, but how to do things, how to compete, how to play hard, how to strain. And so every day you get a chance to go out to do that at practice is an opportunity for you to get better.
Yeah, I know. Our teams practice at the same time. Sometimes I get to peek over at you guys. Sometimes your football players are peeking over at mine. But I've been really impressed with your coaching staff, coaching up the scout team, like you said, not just the X's and O's, but really breaking down the why we want to do it this way.
And I think that's the biggest thing is and it's something we've struggled with a little bit. We've had to go back and really focus on that, refocus on that, is about why we do things and how we do things. A lot of people always are about, they think it's about the play calling. You think, oh, we shouldn't have run that play. Should have run the ball here. Should have thrown the ball here. It's 99.9% of the time, it's never about that. All football plays are good football plays. Nobody draws up plays and goes, you know what? I drew this play up. It's going to lose 3 yards every time we run it. Let's run this one. And they don't do that. And so it's about execution and about doing things the right way. And that's something that we've struggled with. And so, for us, our answer was to go back and not change offenses, because it's hard to change midstream. It's to go back and do a better job coaching the things that we do and explaining why we do it. And at some point in time, we didn't do a very good job of that. And I always say you get what you inspect and not what you expect. I don't think I did a very good job of inspecting those things along the line, which is kind of why we ended up here. So we're trying to do a better job of that. I think our coaches have got to coach. You got to coach. There's an old saying: if don't find yourself with your feet nailed to the ground behind the huddle. So if I can get to your players before you can, I don't need you. I'm coaching your kids. So I push our kids, and in some ways it's competitive with our coaches to get out there and coach your kids between plays, before somebody else can.
I like that. That's awesome. So I've asked you this a couple times, and I'm gonna hit it again. We're now 10 weeks in the season. You changed up. No spring ball last year, or a shorter spring ball. You did extended fall. Now that we're wrapping up regular season, what's your thoughts?
I actually like that. I think the thing that I didn't like is what we did during the summer. And so I think one of the big issues that we struggled with is, we did some different things on offense. I think we went in the summer and we changed up the way we went about our summers. We spent more, there was more of an emphasis on what we were doing, practice time, as opposed to lifting and conditioning our kids and getting them in better shape. And so when we hit the season, we were not in great shape. And so we had to spend a lot of time working on conditioning when we should have been working on X's and O's. And so just in hindsight, philosophically, it was a departure from the way I'd done things. I won't do it again. I'll go back and I'll run my summers like I've always done. We'll do more conditioning. And so when we hit the field on August 1st, our kids will be conditioned. We'll be ready to go. That's the biggest thing. I actually liked having the 2 scrimmages. I really liked having the 2 scrimmages. just because I do think there's a benefit there, and you don't have as much dead time in the preseason. You're always working towards something. So I'll look at those things again, and we'll talk with the staff and figure out exactly what we want to do about that. But at the same time, it was awkward not having spring practice, and I missed having spring practice in some ways because I enjoy that time with our kids. It's kind of a no pressure football practice situation. But we still did some workouts and did some things. We went out every day and we did 10 days. We just didn't put helmets and shoulder pads on.
All right, let's pause for a word.
This is Coach Rocky Hidalgo of the Glen Academy Red Terrors. When a whistle and a booming voice isn't quite enough, I turn to Pyro Mike to put on a show. From wedding sparklers to black cats to the Super Shell mortar, the largest reloadable mortar that you can purchase without the ATF coming to kick down your door, Pyro Mike has that special something that will fit in anyone's budget. For birthdays, anniversaries, corporate events, holidays, or gender reveal parties, Pyro Mike can help create a lasting memory for all your attendees at a great price. Or maybe you just want to be that guy and light off the Excalibur at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday night. Mike can help with that too. Come out and visit Pyro Mike on Highway 341 across from the Tractor Supply Company. Go Terrors! Hello Red Terror fans, this is Coach Rock, head coach of the Glen Academy Red Terrors. In my business, there's no better way to ensure victory than having a great game plan and being focused on the details. Phil Setzer of the Live Oak Agency on St. Simon's Island brings the same attention to your insurance needs as the Red Terror staff brings to winning on Friday nights. A locally owned boutique agency, the Live Oak Agency carefully selects its carriers in order to provide you with the best level of service, price, and coverage available. From the basics like home, auto, and boat insurance to your farming, business, or commercial needs, the Live Oak Agency can ensure your interest regardless of the circumstances. Come visit Phil and his staff at 1700 Frederica Road, Suite 202 on St. Simon's Island, or give him a call at 912-434-4220. Live Oak Agency, a proud sponsor of Glen Academy football. Go Terrors!
Thank you again to our sponsors. So, Coach, we all know you've got a great psychology degree, right? If you weren't a coach, you'd be a psychologist because that's what it takes sometimes. Do you feel, we talked about your 2 scrimmages, do you feel that having an opponent in that preseason to work towards and not just beating up on each other, do you think that helped the team out?
I like having people to play. What happens is, and I think sometimes you fall into this, is when you're just practicing, there has to be a purpose to what you do. And kids aren't dumb. So if there's no purpose to what you do, what ends up happening is the kids are just out there and they don't get anything from it. It's kind of the return on investment. Now, the other side of that is, do you spend enough time working on you preseason before you started prepping for an opponent? Those are the things I have to, when the season's over with, have to look back and say, look, where's the balance in this? What's good? What's bad? Maybe we keep 2 preseason scrimmages and we go back and we do our preseason practices a little different than we did this year. I don't know. There's a lot of those things that we have to go back and reflect on. I'm a big believer in when the season's over with, you have to sit back and see what you did, what was good about it, what was bad about it. I think there's a lot of things from this year that we can take away. And I've learned more as a football coach this year than I have in my previous, 13 or 14 years as a head football coach. Learned a lot of things. I relearned a lot of lessons this year. I relearned a lot of lessons that I always knew. And, the importance of chemistry in the locker room, the importance of discipline, the importance of discipline. I think there's a fine line between discipline and compassion for kids. But at the end of the day, your football team has to be disciplined, and you have to expect them to be disciplined outside the white lines if you expect them to be disciplined inside the white lines. And that's one of the things I think we have to do a better job at Glen Academy.
Yeah, if they're not willing to do the small stuff outside the white lines, they're not going to do the small stuff inside.
The way you do anything is the way you do everything, as they say.
Yeah, I saw that strength and conditioning coach, in college, going ham, and then you see him eating breakfast. That's the same way,
That's it.
So Coach, highlights from the JV and freshman season. Give us 2 or 3 things. They've wrapped up now, correct?
They have. I think we've got some good kids coming. A lot of our kids were playing on Friday nights. I mean, obviously Greg Peacock. Whatever team you put Greg Peacock with on JV or 9th grade is going to be a lot better. And that team probably goes undefeated if he plays, 7 games. But in addition to him, you have a lot of guys. Marshawn Turner, who has been playing up with us. Peyton Parker, Devontae Lang, those guys are all playing up with us. Jack Hunt, Max Poisky's played a bunch on Friday night. So, there's all of this, David Prince. So we've got a lot of young kids that are playing up that impacted those things. I think we've seen some growth with guys like Donye Broughton on the offensive line, Edrin, Eddie Jackson on the offensive line. Those guys. I think Jack Cheatham's a kid that's really grown up this year. Is going to be a good player for us next year. We moved some kids to some different positions. Ryan Young, we took him out from safety to outside linebacker. I think he's going to be a really good player there. Tank Tankersley's a kid that's played some on Friday nights for us. Had a great season. Joseph Foster's a kid that's got a big upside for us and has done some really good things during the JV year. But then you go back and you look at those ninth grade kids. There are a lot of ninth grade kids that have a chance to play next year. I think Ben Beltran and Jaden Ellis are two kids that'll probably be Friday night players next year. For sure, if you look at those guys, and possibly some guys on the offensive line. Bennett Sams is a kid that's really, after the JV season in scout teams, has really caught everybody's eye, doing a really good job for us at center. So we've got to have a great offseason with those guys, but I'm excited by it. I think they're good kids. I have that entire ninth grade class in first block weight training. I'm in there by myself. Man, they work really hard. I don't have any discipline problems. They play well together in the locker room, on the field. They're always competing against each other. So I like that class of kids. I think it's going to be a good class of kids.
Yeah, I always like watching those freshmen. They come in August and 115 pounds, soaking wet, and now towards the end of the season, they're starting to put on muscle and seeing growth spurts hitting and that sort of thing. And like you said, I think that freshman class has got a chance to be something special here at Glenn Academy. Not to discount any other class, but the way the chemistry is and the way that they get along is something that, as a classroom teacher, I see it up and down the hallways.
Yeah, they're a good group of kids, and that's not to diminish our sophomores and juniors
100%.
in any way. Because there's a lot of kids in our sophomore class that are playing for us right now, and I think we have some really good players in our junior class. So I'm excited about the future of this. I think if nothing else, a lot of people would probably look at the season we've had and say, he's going to go jump off the Sydney Linear Bridge. That wasn't it at all. I think if anything, it's reaffirmed some of the things I believed in that I didn't do a very good job. That maybe I said, well, maybe the time has come to change these things. I don't believe that's it at all. I think what we have to do is go back to the tried and true ways that work. Holding people accountable to things, making them understand that their decisions are the ones that are going to impact their future, whether it's in the classroom, on the football field. I believe wholeheartedly that football is one of the greatest ways to help boys become men. I really do. I think it teaches kids how to battle through adversity. And I think more than anything, our society, we've got a glut of 25 to 35-year-old adolescents out there, and we need men. We need men who understand what it's like to be mentally and physically tough, to understand what it's like to be uncomfortable and be okay being uncomfortable. A lot of times in our society, people confuse discomfort with pain, and it's okay to be to not be comfortable sometimes, to have some discomfort and have to fight through those things. And I think that's what football is it's a great teacher for that. It teaches kids to overcome their own discomfort, to sacrifice for the old adage, rising tides lift all boats. Let's do, we go out there and we do things for other people, we've got to sacrifice some of what we want for what we all need here. And a lot of it applies to our society.
No doubt we need more hard-nosed men in this world, 100%. So, Coach, you got anything else for us?
Man, I'm just excited. Everybody's senior night. We had a good group of seniors going to be leaving. It's going to play their last home game, more than likely, in Glenn Academy Stadium this week. We want to get that win for them, get on the road. We're going to get on the road and go up to Atlanta and get after somebody in Atlanta.
Yeah, that's exciting, man. Make sure you pack the stadium. These guys are going to set off some fireworks for us. Playoff spot on the line, so we need the 12th man out there making some noise. Y'all have a wonderful week. This is Dan Meyers, Rocky Hidalgo for Terrortown Talk. And don't forget to like and subscribe below.